Welcome everyone to German Tool Reviews. Today we have the Wera 2Go storage system. I've had this set for a couple of months now and wanted to use it for a bit before formulating a final opinion on it. First, let's get into some details about the Wera 2Go system, which is a collection of modular semi-soft tool cases. For anyone that has ordered a Wera product that comes in their familiar soft tool cases will notice that they made a change a while back to add a hook and loop backing. This was anticipation for the Wera 2Go system that relies heavily on the hook and loop fasteners, also known by its trade name Velcro. An interesting thing to note about this product is that it is made in Poland. Now, I'm not exactly sure the city it was made in, but my guess would be Łódź, which at one time was a powerhouse in textile manufacturing. Polish textile industry nearly collapsed after the fall of the Soviet Union in 1990 due to the countries of the USSR being the primary importers of textiles from Łódź. Only recently has the industry begun to recover thanks to millions in automation investment. The products in the Wera 2Go system are numbered 1 through 4 and consist of the following. Wera 2Go 1 consists of a double-sided hook and loop pad with shoulder strap that accepts the Wera 2Go 3, 4, or any other Velcro back system. The Wera 2Go 2 is the creme de la creme of the line and contains a very large satchel along with the Wera 2Go 4 quiver. The Wera 2Go 3 is an intermediate size that is around half the size of the Wera 2Go 2 satchel. Finally, the Wera 2Go 4 is a small quiver that is targeted as a screwdriver holder. I've picked up both the Wera 2Go 2 and Wera 2Go 3 units for this review. Now let's get into it with the Wera 2Go 2. You can tell Wera actually spent some time on the packaging of this unit. It was clearly targeted as something that could be easily placed in a retail setting. You can also tell the box was specifically made for this unit because of the lack of any additional packaging. Just a single cardboard box here. The Wera 2Go 2 satchel does have some bulk to it. Just the empty unit comes in at right about 2 kilograms or 4.375 pounds. So even though this is a soft case, you know it must have a lot of reinforcement to come in at that weight. The satchel design has a double flap system with both flaps able to be stayed using the built-in hook and loop pads. Inside the unit are the shoulder strap, carrying handle, and Wera 2Go 4 quiver. Taking a look at the inside of the unit, there's a reinforcing member in the center to help keep its rigidity even when empty. There's also a small elastic strap on one side, which I suppose is to secure one of Wera's other soft tool pouches, as it appears to be about that size. Examining the stitching on the strap in detail, we can see that it's definitely some sort of synthetic fiber with many different stitching patterns. I'm not an expert in textile technology, so I can't say for sure if this is a good design, but it sure looks like some work went into making sure these straps would hold up. You can also see the end of the scrim was melted to prevent fraying, sort of like something you would see at the end of a rope. Now let's take a look at the Wera 2Go 4 quiver that is included with the Wera 2Go 2. Tucked into the quiver is the shoulder strap for the satchel, which we'll get into a little bit later. Also included in the quiver is the product brochure for the entire Wera 2Go product line. One thing I noticed on the quiver is the fraying at the top edge of this unit. Just a little bit of trimming that was missed during production, as it only appears on the front side of the unit. On the back side of the quiver there is a loop pad that is used for attaching this quiver to the outside of the Wera 2Go 2 satchel if desired. On the front is an embossed Wera logo that is sewn into the unit. I'm actually glad and impressed that they went to trouble of sewing the logo on, as they could have easily cheaped out and silkscreened something onto the fabric itself. On the inside of the quiver there's a soft removable divider that resembles an accordion. The divider contains 2 hook pads on one side and 3 on the other. These can be adjusted slightly within the quiver to vary the size of each compartment in small increments. I used the quiver as a sacrificial test subject to test the durability of the Wera 2Go system, which I did a separate video for and will link in the description for those that are interested in the results of that test. Now onto the shoulder strap that is included with the satchel. Obviously the most striking feature is the Wera logo that appears on the shoulder pad and looks to be made out of vinyl. The shoulder pad does appear to have a good amount of padding in it. Looking at the latches at the end of the strap, this is where I think they could have done a little bit better. I would have preferred these to be metal instead of plastic, as the swivel joint on the latch is going to be the weakest point in the entire strap. It looks like it was an off-the-shelf latch and doesn't look to be field replaceable due to it being sewn in place. In addition to the shoulder strap, a shorter strap is included to carry around the satchel by hand. As a tool storage option, each unit in the series seems to have a more targeted use. The Wera 2Go 4 quiver is marketed mostly for carrying screwdrivers, which appears to work well when you store the screwdriver's handle up. The puncture-resistant material and rigidity of the unit prevents the screwdrivers from poking out the bottom of the unit, and you can fit quite a few screwdrivers in the quiver before it gets totally filled up. Here I have 10 screwdrivers in the quiver, and there's still room for more. It's not to say that you couldn't use the quiver for other tools, such as pliers and other handled tools fit well together in the quiver. The quiver is designed to be attached to the front of the satchel, but what I found is that if you have any kind of significant weight in it, then I wouldn't trust it from falling off or tipping over. For me, the best place for the quiver is stored within the satchel, where you can both access the tools stored in it and remove it if necessary. A lot of the new Wera tool cases also include the hook and loop system that allows them to be attached to the various mounting points on the satchel. For example, this Craftform Micro Soft case, which sticks very well to the satchel. Next up we have the Wera 2Go 3, which looks to have a very similar construction to the Wera 2Go 2 satchel, with a top flap and loop pad on the back. Unlike the quiver, the Wera 2Go 3 seems a lot more stable on the front of the Wera 2Go 2 satchel, even when fully loaded with tools. You can also attach the Wera 2Go 3 onto the front of the satchel when the front flap is folded down. This allows access to the inside of the satchel without even opening it up. The top flap of the Wera 2Go 2 satchel can also be stayed on the back of the unit to allow unabated access to the contents of the satchel. Another cool thing about this Wera 2Go 3 is that it will fit in the top compartment of the Wera 2Go 2 satchel, making it a much more modular system than I thought it would be. In terms of a target audience for the Wera 2Go system, I believe the Wera 2Go 2 satchel would best be utilized as a disguised toolbox. The type of person I see most benefited from this design is the technician who often works in a very formal setting where a typical toolbox might be considered unsightly. For example, a copier and printer technician or elevator maintainer are those that I could see using this more than an automotive mechanic. It has the appearance of more like a briefcase than a toolbox, which I think would bode well for those type of formal corporate environments. If you're on the fence about picking up this system due to the high cost of the Wera 2Go 2 satchel, then I would recommend first picking up the Wera 2Go 3, which is very similar but at a significantly lower cost. It is then easier to justify adding the Wera 2Go 2 since it maintains some modularity with the Wera 2Go 3. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that look at the Wera 2Go tool storage system. Check out the link in the description to the full review. The KC Tool and Amazon affiliate links to these products are also in the description if you feel the urge to pick one up. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.